People often make a dangerous assumption about nice guys, that their kindness comes from weakness. They think being considerate means being soft, but that couldn't be further from the truth. There's a huge difference between someone who is nice because they crave approval and someone who is nice because they choose to be. Sigma males tend to fall into the latter category. Their kindness isn't about seeking validation or avoiding conflict. It's a conscious decision rooted in strength. When they show respect, it's not out of fear. When they help others, it's not because they expect anything in return. Former FBI Special Agent Jack Schaefer explains this concept perfectly. True power isn't about constantly displaying strength. It's about knowing when to hold back. When a Sigma male stops being nice, it's not an emotional outburst. It's a calculated shift. Most people misinterpret this as a sudden snap, but in reality, it's something far more deliberate. A boundary has been crossed, and once that happens, there's no going back. He doesn't just get upset. He completely redefines how he interacts with the world. Let's dive into 6 things that occur when a Sigma male stops being nice, and why it tends to shock everyone around him. Number 1, his tolerance for games hits 0. Think of a Sigma male like a calm ocean, deep, peaceful, and unwavering. He doesn't seek conflict, nor does he feel the need to prove himself. But don't mistake his stillness for weakness. Beneath the surface lies a force you don't want to test. In 12 Rules for Life, Jordan Peterson emphasizes the importance of boundaries, stating, "Do not let people do things to you that you dislike." The Sigma male lives by this principle. He is kind, not out of weakness, but because he chooses to be. He gives people the benefit of the doubt time and time again. But here's the thing. Each act of disrespect, manipulation, or betrayal wears down his patience. And then, one day, the line is crossed. Maybe it's the friend who constantly makes him the punchline, the coworker who takes credit for his ideas, or the partner who plays mind games to keep control. The Sigma male doesn't lash out. He doesn't raise his voice or cause a scene. Instead, he goes quiet. His energy shifts, and you can feel it, like the air before a storm. Dr. Ramani Durvasula, an expert in toxic behavior, explains that people often confuse kindness with naivety. They push, thinking there will be no consequences. But when a Sigma male stops being kind, it's a wake-up call. Number 2, the final warning that most miss. When a Sigma male stops being nice, it's never a sudden shift. There's always a moment, a final warning, that most people overlook. It's not loud or dramatic. It's subtle, like a quiet tap on the shoulder before the door shuts for good. Relationship expert John Gottman refers to these as bids for connection. Small, often unnoticed signals that someone is trying to communicate something important. For a Sigma male, this might be a calm statement, a direct question, or even a long, meaningful glance. It's his way of saying, "This is your last chance. Don't push me further." The problem? Most people don't take it seriously. They've grown so used to his patience and kindness that they assume he'll let things slide like always. They fail to realize that this time is different. This isn't him being nice, it's him being clear. Take, for example, a friend who repeatedly borrows money but never pays it back. At first, the Sigma male helps out without complaint. But after being taken for granted one too many times, he decides he's done. He doesn't argue or demand repayment. He simply stops engaging. Meanwhile, the friend continues reaching out, assuming he'll cave in eventually. Robert Glover, author of No More Mr. Nice Guy, explains why people ignore these warnings. They're used to pushing boundaries without consequences, thinking forgiveness will always follow. Number 3, the power shift. Remember playing with a magnet as a kid? How it could suddenly flip and push away what it once pulled in? That's exactly what happens when a Sigma male stops being nice. The entire dynamic shifts. At first, people get used to his flexibility. They push boundaries, make demands, and expect him to adjust. And because he chooses to be kind, He often does. But once that kindness runs out, everything changes. Dr. Leonard Sachs explains it perfectly. When someone naturally strong stops accommodating others, it's like gravity reversing. Everything that used to work stops working. The person who once got favors with a simple ask now gets a firm no. Guilt trips, once effective, bounce off like rubber bands. The friend who always needed just one more thing suddenly finds themselves talking to a wall. The real shock hits those who never saw it coming. They try their usual tactics, the pleading, the pressure, the promises, but it's like pushing a boulder uphill. Nothing budges. This isn't about revenge or cruelty. The Sigma male isn't trying to hurt anyone, he's just stopped letting others dictate the terms. And that one simple shift in power leaves everyone else scrambling to figure out the new rules of a game they didn't even realize they were playing. Number 4, respect becomes non-negotiable. Most people learn to compromise, to accept good enough, and to negotiate respect. But for a Sigma male, once he stops being nice, respect is no longer up for discussion. It becomes as fundamental as gravity. People often test boundaries with small acts of disrespect. A joke that crosses the line, a promise that quietly gets broken, a boundary that's subtly ignored. But when a Sigma male sets his new standard, those little tests meet an unmovable force. It's obvious in his actions. If someone makes a disrespectful comment, he doesn't brush it off. He addresses it directly. If a friend talks behind his back, he doesn't argue. He simply stops engaging. This isn't about being cold or controlling. He's not asking for special treatment. He's just decided that basic respect is the minimum requirement. Like a store with a no shirt, no service sign, the rule is clear and applies to everyone. Friends, family, bosses, no exceptions. What truly unsettles people is the consistency. Nobody gets a free pass anymore. Disrespect isn't something he fights over or tries to fix. It's like a hot stove. The moment he touches it and gets burned, he steps back and never reaches for it again. Because when a Sigma male stops being nice, respect isn't something to be earned. It's the non-negotiable cost of being in his life. Number 5, empty promises get blank stares. We've all heard it before, I'll do better next time. This won't happen again. Just give me one more chance. Empty words that bounce off the walls, yet somehow, people keep falling for them. Legendary poker champion Doyle Brunson once said something spot on about bluffs. Once you spot someone's tell, their words become meaningless. That's exactly what happens when a Sigma stops taking promises at face value. The usual apology starts rolling, full of regret and reassurance. But instead of nodding along, the Sigma just watches calm, unreadable, like someone who's seen the same magic trick one too many times. He's not angry, not even disappointed, just done. And that reaction? It makes promise breakers squirm. They're used to people either arguing or forgiving, but indifference, that throws them off completely. So they scramble. Bigger promises, grander gestures, more dramatic words. But it's like trying to sell ice to someone who already knows the scam. Once a Sigma stops playing along, words lose their power. The speeches that used to work like a charm now just hang in the air, meaningless. Because at the end of the day, actions are the only thing that matter. And when you've seen the same script too many times, you stop believing in the story. Number 6, strategic distance creation. Ever noticed how some animals take a step back before making their next move? When a Sigma male stops being nice, he does the same quietly, deliberately, and with purpose. Combat veteran and psychologist Dave Grossman explains that the most dangerous predators don't rush in. They create space to assess the battlefield. That's exactly how a Sigma operates. When his nice guy switch flips off, it's not out of anger or to prove a point. Conversations grow shorter, response times stretch, and his availability fades not as a game, but as a strategic shift. He's not distancing himself for attention. He's recalibrating his life, removing the people who took advantage of his kindness. While others might pull away to make someone notice, a Sigma steps back like a chess master adjusting the board. Every move is intentional. Every inch of space he creates is permanent. This isn't about being hard to get. It's about protecting his energy and ensuring that only the right people stay in his life. This isn't emotional distance driven by hurt. It's a calculated retreat rooted in clarity. And once that distance is there, there's no going back. That's all for this video. We hope you have found this video informative and interesting. Do you identify with any of these traits? Which sign resonated with you the most, and why? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let us know in the comment section. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon for more interesting videos like this. Thank you for watching our video.